What is up, party people? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamila. This is JemilaBeReadin because I do be reading. And today we are doing my September wrap up. You might have noticed that I didn't do a July or August wrap up. You know, technical difficulties / laziness was really the reason why. By the time I finally, found the time to start editing my August wrap up, it was like a few days ago. So basically we're at the end of September already. So really, what was the point? Anyways, I'm filming this a week before September ends because I'm trying to get ahead here. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to film everything that I've read up to this point and talk about it. And then I will come back possibly in a different outfit next week and talk about the end and combine it together so that way I'm just ahead of the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about what I read so far this September. So the first book that I read is Zeny by Rebecca Weatherspoon. This is the second book in the Loose End series, the first one being Rafe, a Buff Male Nanny, which I actually read in August. I was just continuing on. I thought it's finally time for me to read some Rebecca Weatherspoon since she is a pretty popular romance author. So I checked this one out and it was so good. This is following our main character, Zeny. Name's in the title of the book. She is going to upstate New York to clean out her recently deceased aunt's house and get the will sorted out and figure all of that. Turns out that her aunt left her a bunch of money, and it comes with some interesting terms and conditions, that being that she has to marry a friend and mentee of her aunt's, Mason McInroy, in order to get this money, in order for both of them actually to get the money from the inheritance. So they end up doing that, and they fall in love, as you can imagine. And it was just, it was cute. It was very smutty, you know what I'm saying? But I just thought it was really well written, and I just loved both of these characters so much. Two bicons, and really, what else do I have to say besides go check out this book and also Rafe, a Buff Male Nanny. I really enjoyed that one as well. So then I finally read Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I have been trying to read this book since I got it last year. It's been a year, and I finally read it, and I regret that I didn't read it sooner because I absolutely love this book. It was so good. So much good fall vibes. Also, now is the time to read this book if you want to really immerse yourself in the fall spooky vibes. But this is YA fantasy, contemporary fantasy that is following our main character, Yadriel. He is a teenage trans boy living in East Los Angeles. He comes from a family and a community that practices magic. They're all brujex. And he is trying to navigate his identity and show his family and his community that he is a real brujo. He ends up going along with his cousin and best friend, Maritza, and trying to complete this ritual, the spell. Things go wrong, of course they do, and he accidentally summons the spirit of his school's resident bad boy, Julian, and, things kind of just hit the fan from there. Him, Julian, and Maritza have to go and figure out what happened to Julian, how did he die, and what's been going on with some missing people in the neighborhood, and it was just fantastic. I loved all of the conversation about being a trans boy and everything that he had to go through with his family. I really loved Julian and Yadriel's relationship. They were so cute. These are my sons, okay? And Maritza is my daughter. No one can harm them, okay? We gotta protect these kids. It was just so good. What can I say? Go read this one also. Can I also just show you? I got the Barnes & Noble special edition. And this is the inside. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? Fantastic. This was so good. I loved it. I know a lot of people love this one. So if you haven't read it, this is me telling you right now. Now's the time. We're entering October. The time is now. Go read it. All right. Picked up another romance. I was really in a romance kick at the beginning of September. The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood, which is a romance. Basically, Reylo fan fiction. I am not a Star Wars person, but I just knew instantly by looking at this cover. I was like, Reylo has something to do with this book. And it turns out that the author like adapted this book from her Reylo fan fiction that she wrote, which, I mean, love that for her. I don't ship Reylo. Again, I literally have only seen like the original, like for the original trilogy, but only the first two. And I don't have much recollection about it, but I know that I wouldn't like Reylo. And if you do, whatever. I'm not scared to start a fandom war. But anyways, this is following two POVs. No, we're not. This is following Olive Smith, who is a PhD candidate at a school. I want to say it's Berkeley. I can't really remember right now, but she is a PhD candidate for physics. So, no, bio. And it doesn't even say it. Maybe I should have remembered this. She's doing something with, no, I think it's like bio, something to do with biology. Is she a biology candidate? Anyway, she's a PhD like in STEM. And she's trying to convince her friend that she's over her ex because she wants her friend and her ex to get together. And so her friend is like walking by the hall and she ends up kissing the first person that she sees, and it happens to be one of the professors who is not her professor. He is not, you know, her superior. Why am I describing this so badly? She kisses him, blah, blah, blah. They end up doing a fake dating situation because it's going to help him too. They fall in love, as you can imagine. You know how things go. Sorry for this completely muddled description of what this book was about. Obviously, feel free to go look it up. So I messed up when I was talking about the love hypothesis, so I'm just gonna retell y'all my thoughts. Also, I have since lowered my score, having now sat with this book for a little bit. So the love hypothesis, 3 stars. It was fine. It was fun. I enjoyed it while I was reading it, although I will say at the beginning, I thought I was going to hate this book because it was so cringy. I definitely thought I was not going to be able to get past it, but overall it kind of came together. I initially gave this one like a 3.5 or 4 stars, but then having been, like a couple weeks since I last read it, I realized that it was very not memorable and there were parts of it that I didn't really enjoy all that much. One big thing is that this is very fanfic trope heavy, like super fanfic trope heavy. So if that's something that's going to bother you, maybe don't pick this one up. There was just a lot of, oh no, I have all this extra sunscreen on my hands and I don't have anywhere to put it. And there's, a hot guy with no shirt on. Oh, my best friend's telling me to go put lotion on his back. I don't know. It was just her friend. I liked her, but the way that she kept like doing these like annoying, like very high school-esque things between the two of them, I just, anyway, it was fine. If you liked it, that's great. It was okay. Then continuing on my romance kick, I ended up picking up this book called Brooklyn Air by Serena Bowen. And the story of how I came to read this book was I woke up one day and I was like, I want to read a billionaire romance, which is so strange for me because I don't really care for billionaire romances all that much. But I was like, I'm reading a billionaire romance today. So I Googled like best billionaire romances and I saw this book on several different lists. And it was available on Libby. So I picked it up and I read it and I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed this one. The cover leaves something to be desired, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit embarrassing, but that's fine. Like I said, this is a billionaire romance. It is following Rebecca, who is office manager and assistant to this billionaire whose name is Nate. He's like a tech billionaire, but he also owns this hockey company. And it turns out this series is like a whole like hockey romance series, which I might check out because I was kind of interested in these side characters. But he owns this what is it called? This hockey team, and she's kind of like running a lot of stuff for this hockey team for him. They've known each other for like 7 years. They're basically really good friends and colleagues. And she ends up getting injured, and he's like taking care of her. And they've both like kind of mutually liked each other this whole time, and things just ended up happening where they finally revealed it to each other, and it was just really cute. Friends to lovers, I think it's superior. I really do. More than enemies to lovers. Because quite honestly, I have not found many enemies to lovers that have done it for me. So if you have recommendations, please let me know. Because most of the time, I'm like, either y'all need to like literally kill each other, or I don't believe it. I don't believe you guys actually hated each other. It's usually some like silly stuff like in The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. They're just like picking on each other like school children. That doesn't cut it for me. So that's all I have to say about that. In some nonfiction, I read On Juneteenth by Annette Gordon Reed. I actually listened to the audiobook of this one. This is talking about kind of the history of Juneteenth and of slavery in Texas and just Black people in early Texas. I thought this one was fine. A lot of it was information that I already knew, but there was some interesting stuff. I think it was just a little bit too short. Not to say that this was bad in any means. I think this is a really good starting place for a lot of people. But I think I just wanted a little bit more out of this book. It just didn't quite like come together for me. It's kind of hard to rate like nonfiction. I think ultimately I would have given this one like a 3.5 stars, but I do think it's like really important and people should read it. So then I'm going to talk briefly about these two books. I'm not going to like go into it because I'm planning a separate video talking about like dark academia books. So I read these two for that. The first one was Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko. This is like a Ukrainian fantasy novel, and it was recently translated into English like 2 years ago. And I was asking some people on Instagram to give me some dark academia recommendations, and I saw this one. It was available at my library. I picked it up, and I really enjoyed it, which is why I went and bought a physical copy. And then I picked up Ace of Spades, which is, again, another really popular one that's going around like on TikTok and Instagram right now. This is a dark academia thriller. It's pitched as Get Out meets Gossip Girl, and I think that's a really good description of this book. Mixed feelings about this one, but again, I'm going to talk about these two books and some other dark academia books in that video, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And lastly, at least for now until I come back next week, I read volumes 2 through 8 of One Piece. I'm getting back in the groove. I read the first volume back in January. It was one of my reading goals to read One Piece this year. Got back into the groove of it. Really enjoying it right now. It's been a great time. It's so silly a little bit, but I'm absolutely enjoying it, and I love the characters. Luffy's like slowly but steadily growing his pirate crew, and I'm just having a great time. And every time I wish that I had like gone into One Piece when I was younger. I was really into the other two of like what was considered the big three, so Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. I've read Naruto, I've read Bleach, I watched the animes, I was like really into those, and I just never got into One Piece because even at that point there was so much already, and that really threw me off. And that was like 10 years ago. And I also wasn't the biggest fan of the art style, but it's been growing on me. So yeah, I don't really have a lot to update you all on that front other than I'm really enjoying One Piece right now. I'm still in the like early stages of the East Blue Saga, but slowly but surely making my way through, you know? Yeah, that's all I have for this part of the video. See you next time. So I actually did read one more book by the end of September, only one. It was not a good reading like week, but I read a short romance novella called Go Deep by Risley Adams. Risley? one of the two. It'll be right here. Like I said, it's a short romance novella. This romance erotica writer is in a rut, so she enlists her best friend to help her not get in a rut, if you know what I mean. And it was just basically that. It's definitely friends to lovers, happy ever after. Everything worked out in the end. It was fun though. Like, I really liked the dialogue between them. It just felt like if I was watching Insecure, but in a romance novel. And maybe a little bit more corny. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to be checking out more from this author. So that is it for the end of this wrap up, I guess. I'm still posting this late. It is now basically mid-October, whatever. But yeah, I have all my social media links down below. And I'll catch y'all in the next video.